And you see the clock almost empty, so this is likely the last play in the second quarter. Now the Georgia Southern man, this is Jerick McKinnon. So it's halftime here on sports' grandest stage in the Super Bowl. As now we send you out to Orlando and hook back up with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Brandon.
So the halftime show of the Super Bowl abbreviated, ready to go for the second half. These two teams sat through a longer than usual 30-minute wait, but we're back in action here in this Super Bowl. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. Here comes the Chiefs offensive unit as they'll have it to begin quarter number 3. And I would imagine this is where you have to take stock of the situation, CD, and say, gosh, we're halfway to the Lombardi Trophy. Let's not slow down now.
And I like the way you went there. Let's not slow down now, because the first half certainly went their way. And I would expect them to continue with that type of a game plan. But you're right. You do think back to Super Bowl 54. 49ers had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, couldn't hold on. So plenty can still happen.
And that is caught for the touchdown, Kansas City. Juju Smith-Schuster, 46 yards. And the Chiefs are starting to open things up here in the Super Bowl. So another touchdown there, and even though we're still just here in the third quarter, kind of hard now to see them giving up this lead.
And this is just an offense that's imposing its will right now. You name it, they're able to do it. If you're the play caller, whatever you want to select is there. You want to run it, you want to throw it, pick a play, any play. They're rocking and rolling right now.
I think this is just going to be a function of the times we live in now. Very similar to the bat flip in baseball. Everyone's got to start to get comfortable with this. But to me, this is just rubbing it in. You got a big lead. Go ahead and take the extra point. One thing to keep in mind, though, karma's still out there, and sometimes it has a way of catching up with you.
This fielded right at the goal line. And he returns this to the 22. So here are the Eagles now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history. That's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And partner, you know, as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late. That wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
Hurts. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down.
He did a fine job there of not hitting him before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
A terrific return, 30 yards all in all. And the Chiefs will have excellent field position here as they take over. So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. And great blocking downfield as he's got this almost to the 35-yard line. 56 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They find some open field here. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first. Here's Mahomes now on the option right. Another good gain. That's now 35 yards combined on those last 2 plays. But I tell you, there is no antidote for speed, even at the quarterback position, as he keeps it himself and turns it into good. And he's going to take it into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Mike Burton punching it in from a yard away. And the Chiefs are starting to pour it on the game's biggest stage. They are running away with this Super Bowl. Boy, another score. This lead gets even bigger. And, Charles, we haven't even hit the fourth quarter yet.
Well, forget the deficit, right? They're really not going to cut into that a heck of a lot. But how can they get out of here with some dignity? Can they get a stop or two? Can they make a play on offense themselves? Anything to start to feel better about what's happened to them here in this one.
And they are just not going to let up as he is into the end zone here for 2 more.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for 2, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. You know, size of victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get 2. You got some pretty ticked off folks on the other sideline now.
And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. The Eagles offense now gets set to head back onto the field.
The disparity in this game, it just seems to grow with each possession here, Charles. They are really struggling. They have not put up a single point, and on the other side, the points keep piling up and up and up.
So you know the frustration level has to be rising, right? So they've got to find a way to quell that, because otherwise they certainly won't get anything done in this one. Keep diving deeper into the offensive playbook. The bottom line is don't quit competing.
They'll run the jet sweep with Brown. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
I see a shake of the head as he gets up, and you've got to imagine he's thinking, guys, you got to help me out. He's hoping his team can read his thoughts because he definitely needs some assistance.
They'll try and run for it with Sanders. And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Right back to Sanders on 1st down. He'll work his way up the middle for a gain of about 4. 2nd down. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And that one off the mark behind him, incomplete. To give you an idea of how accurate he's been throwing the football, we're in the second half. That's just his 2nd incompletion.
Well, if he's that locked in, that means everyone's locked in, because to me it's like throwing a no-hitter in baseball. The pitcher may get the credit, a lot of people making plays behind him in the field.
And he'll be brought down with a 1st down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 32-yard line. Just 1 more quarter remains in the season-long race for the Lombardi Trophy here in Super Bowl 57 from Glendale. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. That one unable to develop, never got going. A loss of a couple, and it's 2nd down. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out